Have you guys ever been to the shop and been looking over some super basic items like bread or tea or coffee, and you've spent an unnecessarily long amount of time trying to decide on which one to get? Now, this might sound like a weird analogy for today's video, but it's a perfect illustration of what choice can do for us and how this can actually be sometimes pretty detrimental to our success. Just like picking the right type of coffee, you really know what the options are. You really know that they're all relatively the same thing, really. But you might spend 5 minutes trying to pick which one you want. If there was one choice on the shelf, or maybe two, it'd probably be a snap decision. Relating this to the modern world that we live in today as a broader picture, it's just like a supermarket. You've got so many different options on every single front. Different lines of work that you can follow. Different businesses that you can build. Different lifestyles that you can live. Different places that you can live. Different people that you can meet. And of course that's been true for a lot of history, but the internet has kind of facilitated a lot more growth, and I would argue to a degree social mobility because, well, we have people who can make millions online. So the internet's changed the world, but this is not really a new concept. However, when we think about the choice and the consequences that this brings into our life, it does allow us to be a lot more versatile. It does allow us to follow our destinies a lot more. But for so many people, the amount of choice that we have in the world right now is actually a little bit paralyzing because they don't know which way to go. Do I go with this? Do I go with that? And it's so difficult to choose. Think about things like jobs, right? You have so many opportunities for jobs because it's so easy to move abroad, up north, down south. You've got the internet, which can connect you to your friends and family very easily. Transport links nationally and internationally are as strong, if not stronger than ever. So what do you do? Perhaps if you were born in the 50s, your option would have been to do whatever the industry in your town was. Now we have so much choice. And it's funny because you would think this is the best thing in the world, but it's led to a lot of people becoming inherently lazy, becoming inherently skillless, and becoming, like I say, sort of paralyzed with opportunities. It's like a paradox. It doesn't even make sense. How can you be paralyzed with so much opportunity? But it is true. So what am I trying to say here? So many of our young people, of my age, a little bit older, a little bit younger, are so sort of stressed, sort of lost, and looking for some direction in life. So confused because of the way that the world is. Because of the opportunities that the world presents. It can make everything seem a lot harder. It can lead you to aspire to things which are more difficult to get, but think it's normal. And it's created a really different and really interesting situation in today's society. The ability to choose anything is a blessing. It gives you a lot more free will. It gives you a lot more options. At the same time, though, it is interesting to look at how it's leading people in a path which may not be best for them, in a path which may be pretty directionless. What I'm trying to say here is this. Remember the choices that you have in life, but also remember to be a success on any front, to be successful in any field, requires determination, dedication, and drive to a certain subject. And I feel like so many people get lost on the mission, lost on the journey, because they have so many different opportunities flying towards them, flying at them, flying past them. And especially for our young people trying to build and establish something in the modern world, it's so difficult to think about where to go. Do I want to do this career? My friend's doing this. Do I want to do this? Do I want to take this opportunity? And we begin to lose sight of what we actually want. Because it's just so vast. The world's so vast. Opportunities are so complex. If we as humans, as people, could take a year or two to build a plan, a constructive plan, and stick to it in our own lives for the next year or two, the progress that we'd make would be unbelievable. So many people struggle with finding and sticking to a direction. And so many people complain about the results that they face. The reality of it is, you cannot expect to do anything, to make anything, to achieve anything, if you are not working towards something. You don't know, or you can't work towards something if you don't know what it is you want. This all sounds like it's basically common sense, but people don't really understand how paralysing this is for a lot of younger people. It's a great opportunity, and that's why it's so paradoxical, because it's the opportunities that people would have begged for in the past. But I think what I'm trying to say here is, a lot of people need to understand the blessings and the opportunities that they have. A lot of people need to take some time to pick a mission, focus on that mission, and build something for themselves. This is just a video where I share my thoughts on something. How choice can actually be one of the more, sometimes even negative things. I don't really even want to say that, but it can be a slightly negative thing to happen to people because they don't know what they're working towards anymore. How this relates to you guys in your life, I am not sure. Whether this is actually any use at all, I'm not sure. But the modern world just presents so much information, so much connection, so much ability, that we often are led either down a path that society thinks is best, down a path that social media thinks is best, or down no path at all. People switching industries, jobs, careers, lifestyles every couple of years. And unfortunately, it's this same level of, inability to stick to a path, which is more likely to lead to worse outcomes. Because an outcome or a result is oftentimes a manifestation of years worth of effort, dedication, drive, determination. How are you ever going to get a promotion if you are not sure what you want? If you are not sure what industry you even want to get into? How are you ever going to decide on whether this is a good place to live if you've not stayed there for a long time? If you're not willing to travel there and try it? All of the choices that we have in society influence where we go in life, what our life ends up looking like, what we end up being, who we end up becoming. What am I trying to say here to tie this all back together? Because this might be one of the videos which sounds a bit more vague. It's just me giving an opinion on something that I find super interesting. We spend so much time now pondering on things which would have been basic 30, 40, 100 years ago because of all of the chances that we get. And at the same time, we fail to acknowledge what made life so, you could say, mentally easy in some ways for generations of the past. Now, of course, every time period has its challenge, let's not say otherwise, but what we're failing to see is the very opportunities before us. What we're failing to decide on is what we actually want in ourselves. I don't really have much more to say on this. I just wanted to share this interesting point, and it is interesting to me at least how, like I say, the vast amount of opportunities sort of paralyze our abilities to progress. That's it, guys. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. I'll see you soon.